Hey everyone, and welcome. Ever find yourself staring at, say, a pomegranate?
Or your new phone?
Yeah, the pomegranate or your new phone and wondering, how on earth did this get to me?
Right.
Today's deep dive is all about the often invisible heroes who keep our shelves stocked and our online orders moving. Truck drivers.
It's easy to forget about them, right? We click buy now and poof, it appears.
Like magic.
But the reality is far more intricate, far more fascinating than we often realize.
And you wouldn't believe this, but over 70% of all freight in the U.S. travels by truck.
It's incredible.
It's an industry that's practically woven into the fabric of our lives, even if we don't always see it.
Absolutely. Think about it.
Right.
Groceries, clothes, building materials, even the components for those smartphones we're so glued to, they've all been on a truck at some point.
It's mind-boggling.
It's truly the circulatory system of our economy.
And during the pandemic, we saw just how vital that circulatory system is.
Oh, absolutely.
I was reading that grocery stores would have been completely empty within 48 hours of a trucking shutdown during the peak of the pandemic.
Wow.
That's how reliant we are on this industry.
It really brought the importance of truck drivers into sharp focus, didn't it? They were on the front lines, ensuring those supply chains didn't crumble, and it highlighted how much we depend on this workforce, a workforce that faces incredible challenges on a daily basis.
So we've established that trucking is a crucial part of our lives, but
Not always easy.
it's not all sunshine and open roads, that's for sure.
You're right.
The articles we're digging into paint a picture of a tough, demanding job.
Yeah.
They talk about long hours, being away from family for weeks at a time,
It can be really tough on family life.
and even the food on the road can be a challenge.
Oh, absolutely. You're limited to whatever truck stops have, and it's not always the healthiest.
Honestly, it doesn't sound like a walk in the park.
You're right, it's a double-edged sword.
How so?
Well, the freedom of the open road, the independence of being your own boss,
Yeah.
those are big draws for a lot of truckers.
I can see that.
But those same things come with a price.
Yeah.
Long hours can put a strain on relationships, and the lack of regular sleep and healthy food options can take a serious toll on their physical and mental health.
Makes sense.
It's a demanding job, no doubt about it.
One of the articles mentioned how strict ELD mandates are making it harder for truckers to meet delivery deadlines.
Oh yeah, the ELDs.
Which means more pressure on the drivers.
For sure.
It's like they're caught in a pressure cooker trying to stay on time while also staying safe on the road.
Exactly. It's not just about driving the truck either.
Right.
They're constantly dealing with regulations, navigating traffic, adapting to weather conditions.
And trying to stay safe in a world of distracted drivers.
Exactly. It's a demanding job, physically and mentally.
And it's getting even tougher to attract drivers.
That it is.
One study projected a shortage of 160,000 truck drivers by 2030.
Yeah, that's a lot of open positions.
That's a huge gap. What happens if there's no one to drive the trucks?
Well, it's not a pretty picture.
It doesn't take a genius to figure out that our lives would be pretty disrupted.
Definitely.
Think empty shelves at the grocery store, delayed shipments, and prices going through the roof.
It would impact all of us, that's for sure.
Not good.
It's a serious problem, and it's forcing the industry to adapt. Many companies are offering better pay, sign-on bonuses, and improved benefits to attract new drivers. They're also trying to make the job more appealing by creating a more sustainable lifestyle for drivers.
Speaking of change, let's talk about the future of trucking.
Okay.
You know those self-driving trucks we keep hearing about?
The autonomous ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the end of truckers as we know them?
It's a question a lot of people are asking.
Will robots be driving our food and our furniture?
Well, it's not as simple as that.
Okay.
Autonomous trucking technology is developing rapidly.
It seems like it's moving so fast.
It is.
So, we're not all going to be getting Amazon deliveries from robot trucks next week. Okay.
While we'll likely see some level of automation in trucking, it's more realistic to think of it as a shift in the driver's role, rather than a complete replacement.
Okay, a shift, but how so?
Think of it like this. Instead of spending hours behind the wheel, truckers might find themselves managing logistics, overseeing deliveries, or handling complex situations that require human judgment. It could even make the job more appealing to some who value the mental aspects of the job.
Interesting. And the articles mention electric trucks, too.
Yeah, those are becoming more common.
Is that going to be a big deal for the industry? Electric trucks? It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it's becoming a reality. What's the deal with these electric rigs? Are they really going to shake things up?
They have the potential to be a real game changer. Think about it. Electric trucks are quieter, they produce zero emissions, and in the long run, they're actually cheaper to operate. Plus, I imagine a smoother, less bumpy ride would be a welcome change for drivers who spend hours on end on the road.
It makes you wonder, though, if those long hauls are even sustainable in the long run. I mean, we've talked about the environmental impact and the toll it takes on drivers. What if there was a different way?
It's a fascinating question. What if instead of just focusing on improving conditions for drivers, which is obviously important, we rethought the system itself? Imagine a world where we prioritize local sourcing, where regional distribution centers reduce the need for those massive cross-country hauls.
So instead of everything traveling thousands of miles, it's produced and consumed closer to home. It sounds like a logistical jigsaw puzzle, but I see what you mean.
Exactly. It would require a real paradigm shift, but it could lead to a more sustainable future for the industry and for the planet as a whole.
This whole deep dive has been eye-opening. I never really stopped to think about the people behind those big rigs, the sacrifices they make, the essential role they play in our everyday lives.
It's easy to forget about them, isn't it? They're the unsung heroes of the open road, keeping our world moving, literally.
So, to all the truckers out there, thank you. And for everyone listening, next time you see a truck on the highway, maybe give them a little wave of appreciation. They deserve it.
And maybe think about where those goods you use every day come from. It makes you appreciate the complexity of the system, and maybe even consider ways we can all be more mindful consumers.
That's definitely something to chew on. This has been a deep dive into a world I knew surprisingly little about.